All right, imagine this. There's another version of you in another reality, and that version wakes up at 5 a.m., drinks green juice, owns 3 businesses, and has perfect posture. Now, and somehow they do all this while answering their emails and doing their work with joy, okay? Now imagine you could jump into that version of yourself. Welcome to the world of quantum jumping, okay? This is you. This is real. It is science and it's spiritual. It's not just a little TikTok glitter or YouTube dazzle. This is just a very creative rebrand of visualization. Now, let me tell you how, okay? So, first question is, what is quantum jumping? Quantum jumping is just an idea that you can shift your consciousness into a parallel reality where a different version of you already exists. One who has the life that you want, okay? The concepts became largely popular through self-help teachings like Bert Goldman, who claimed you could meditate your way into accessing the alternate versions of yourself, okay? Now, the pitch is simple. It's identifying the universe where this exists, okay? There are infinite versions of you existing simultaneously, okay? So some version of you is already successful, wealthy, confident, fluent in French, Japanese, or knows how to cook without Googling, okay? But through meditation, you can jump into that timeline, okay? Because it's already you, okay? You just have to access it, right? So I know this sounds amazing. It sounds like something that you could sell in some fairy tale, like Jack and his magic beans. But here's where everything gets very interesting, okay? The term quantum comes from real physics, but the way it's used in quantum jumping, now, you could say it's debatable, but does it work? Definitely, okay? So what real quantum physics is science. It's, well, science and a little magic. What's just magic but explain science? Okay, so let's explain the science of it for a second. Quantum physics is the study of the tiniest particles in the universe. Atoms, electrons, photons. One interpretation of quantum mechanics is called the many worlds interpretation, proposed by physicist Hugh Everett III, I think, in 1957. Okay, now in simple terms, it suggests this. Every time a quantum event has multiple possible outcomes, okay, the universe splits into multiple branches, meaning somewhere a version of you did take that job. Somewhere a version of you quit that job. Somewhere a version of you moved to Italy. Somewhere you texted that crush back you had and then found out they were an asshole. But instead of waiting the 4 to 7 minutes to see what answer, what choice is going to get you there, this is the critical part. Now, the many worlds interpretation does not say you can consciously jump between those realities. There's zero scientific evidence that human consciousness can hop timelines like a Netflix movie profile when you're switching back and forth. But physics say alternate branches might exist. They don't might, they do. Now, it does not say close your eyes, breathe deeply, and upgrade yourself. No, but that's later, okay? That's embodying something that you already are. Now, where does the quantum jumping come from? Now, it's just a part of self-improvement and ideas just blended all together. So real quantum terminology is really about guided meditation, visualization techniques, and a dash of metaphysics thrown in there, okay? And it's just, that's where you get the manifesting. You are your current environment. The inside is on the outside, is what you're seeing is what's inside you. Now, this is very popular, but you can do this very easily. I know you've been influenced by all those things that you see, especially a good movie, though, is The Secret. Okay, but the basic formula is very simple as this. Now, you would enter a deep meditative state. Now, imagine you're going to step into a hall of mirrors where you can see alternate versions of yourself, and then choose the one you want and merge with. Now, I know if you're thinking, well, this sounds a little advanced, take a step back and go listen to the videos I've posted about quantum learning and the quantum learning series, okay? This shows you all how to do that, what books to read. You can find this information yourself anywhere, okay? So what's actually happening, the psychology behind here, is where it gets fascinating and very real. So even if quantum jumping isn't literally hopping universe, you are creating the real change here in this reality. And why is that? Because your brain doesn't fully distinguish between vivid imagination and actual experiences. So you're just taking an experience you had in an alternate universe and having it here. You're bringing it with you. You're viewing it and saying, I can do that too, because you can. You already did it. So athletes might use mental rehearsal to improve a performance. High achievers, they visualize the outcome before it happens. So when you imagine becoming a confident version of yourself, your brain starts to adjust to that behavior because it has no choice but to adjust to what you're saying you've already done. So you're going to notice more opportunities. It's going to reduce that fear response, and it's going to align you with the actions that you need to take to fully assume this identity. Okay, that's what's called an identity-based change. So you don't need to magically jump timelines. You just need to view those different timelines and see how you're behaving and become that version of yourself. So you're just changing how you see yourself. And when identity shifts, the behavior is going to follow. So in other words, you don't quantum jump, you psychologically upgrade. All of this is getting an upgrade because you are taking that information from somewhere else and bringing it in. It's a flashy way of saying you're reprogramming yourself. So the people swear it works because it does. And these are the reasons why. It's the expectation effect. If you believe you've shifted into a successful timeline, you'll behave like someone who shifted into a higher timeline. Success is inevitable for that person. So success is inevitable for you. Now, this is the confirmation bias. You're going to start noticing evidence that supports your new identity that you're assuming. So if I'm rich and powerful, be like, ooh, let's say I start finding, if I say somebody rich and powerful has jewelry or whatever, well, I'll find deals on jewelry that I can afford to assume that identity. So this is emotional priming and meditation. Now, imagination is going to create that powerful state because your visualization, again, your brain doesn't know that you're viewing something different. So you're saying, I'm going to pull a little this and that. The brain likes to tell a good story. So what story are you telling yourself? What version of you are you saying is successful? And how is that person, the version of you, portrayed? Okay? For most people, this is very harmless. Now, you could choose a different persona every day, but the one that you stick with is the one that you're going to have the most success with. Problems happen when people abandon this solution, though. They think, oh, you can't escape this world. Yes, you can. You escape it all the time in a book. So just change your reality. You are the book, okay? Manifestation without action is just daydreaming. So what are you doing once you got through visualizing? What effort are you putting in? Because that's where the power comes in. That's the alignment. The 1 becomes 2, but 3. Because this is the new you. The old you, okay, the new you, and the you become when it comes together. Now, so you can literally travel between timeline, parallel universes by quieting the mind, going into self, okay? So all it takes is rehearsal. Step by step, day by day, imagining a better version of you is going to get you a better version of your behavior in this reality and your change in yourself. So magic isn't in the multiverse. It's in you, in your nervous system. So what can your nervous system handle and hold? That's what gets you to those big quantum jumps that you want to achieve. You just need to decide which version of yourself to start practice with. And this has to be consistent, okay? Now, if somewhere in the multiverse there is a version of you already crushing it, maybe the real you who should be right here and there, all you need is the action, okay? So, that's you deciding, I'm the person I want to be right now, today. And if I'm not, I can jump there. I don't have to walk, okay? Come back and let me know what you've been doing to get to the next level. What meditative practices, what visualization practices you've been anchoring into self, because I'm going to do a little bit of it all to get that magic juice going, okay? So I'll see you next time. Let me know in the comments. Follow for more learning tips. See you later.